Testing, 1, 2, 3, test. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Jehovah, thank you for this opportunity to do my best, to have an opportunity while I am on the earth to share your light, to try to do it to the best of my ability, to encourage my brethren, my fellow faithists who are scattered in the world today. Jehovah, I consider it a great, great privilege to be able to try to say something, to share something that will bless their soul. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to redeem the time while I'm in this reality along with the rest of my brethren. I pray for ability to emphasize the opportunity that each of us have to redeem the time while we are on the earth, and the incredible blessing that we have been chosen to hear this light and then to receive it and then to walk in it, Jehovah. I just ask for endurance and strength, and for all my brethren who are involved in proactively trying to share the light, the OAHSPE, your word, against all odds. I just pray for them, and I just pray for any brethren who are in need, who need ministering in their own unique way. I ask that this thing, that it might be accomplished as well. So Jehovah, thank you again for this opportunity. And I ask that you use this video to your glory. In your name, I give thanks and pray. All right. So let it be. So let it be. Thank you, Jehovah. Thank you for joining me. My name is Jaquab Ben Yisrael. Welcome to my channel. This is a channel where I like to, one second. There we go. All right. This is a channel for faithists, brethren who can receive the OAHSPE Bible guidebook, who have been called out of the world and to come into the light, meaning to forsake the world, to overcome the world, to overcome themselves, to take advantage of the resurrection, to do it while they're on the earth. This is a channel for faithists, for brethren who only worship, only subscribe to the all highest ever present creator, for brethren who have come out of religion, out of Christianity, who only now subscribe to the creator, who understand that the only way that to make the resurrection is to align ourselves in truth and knowledge with the creator. And that's what these brethren are doing. We are in the beginning of a new era called the cosmic era, where the creator is moving in a different way. One of the things he's doing is he's tearing down religion, tearing down the old way, old tradition. Even in the Bible, if you read the Bible, it talks about you can't put old wine in the new wineskins. Faithists are new wineskins, and they have come out of traditional religion. They cannot suffer, they cannot abide praying to an intermediary. It doesn't make sense. There is no child in the world who a parent would prevent from coming straight to them without having to go through a neighbor or a friend. Same way with the creator. And incredibly, he allowed it for a while. He allowed intermediaries, he allowed gods and lords to be a stand-in between him and his people. He allowed what's called intermediaries. But now that time is over with, because we've grown in our consciousness to such a point where we should be able to understand that we were, even the Bible talks about, matter of fact, I want to bring that out if you don't mind. I want to bring that out where I'm thank you for letting me remember that. If I could just find it, what is it? For a time we had teachers and rulers and overseers, King James Version. Okay. Or no, wait a minute. I can't remember the verse. It was the Apostle Paul writing about for a time we had, basically he was talking about how we using an analogy in the world where you have children and they send their children to school and they have people over them, you know, to teach them the ABCs and this sort of thing. Same way in the spirit, the creator, his plan was to allow God's lords and saviors to point men in the direction of the creator. He allowed it for a while, but now that time has come to an end, and he's saying, now I want you to approach me directly. Faith is, they can hear that, and they're able to come out of religion and tradition. And it's an incredible thing if you think about it. When you see people, how people are super tied to religion and tradition. I'm not going to be able to find it. I'm looking for it. It's where the Apostle Paul, he spoke about, I just wanted to show how the creator, the true meaning of the Bible is not being revealed until our day. The creator, he hid the truth, these spiritual truths in the Bible, and it's really no way to make sense of the things that are written in the Bible unless you use the OAHSPE as a template, a foundation. And it's just the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my life, the way the creator, he allowed, because there's some things the Bible, it just can't explain. And I do it all the time to help build me up, encourage me that the creator, to show his power, how he can do. You remember the verse where they asked him, how will you reveal yourself to us and not to the world? Remember, they asked Jesus Christ that, the disciples, they asked him, how will you reveal yourself to us and not to the world? Now, I forget what his answer was, but it's happening in this day and age. The creator, he actually revealing himself to Faithus, but not to the world, because the OAHSPE, the knowledge of it, it's not being readily received. He's revealing himself to Faithus and not to the world right now. Not to make us sound like we're elite or anything, but it's just his plan to incrementally bring men into the kingdom. Incrementally bring men into, and when I say men, I mean women and men. I just use that generically. And I'm still looking for that verse and I cannot find it, where he talked about we had overseers and Apostle Paul and how we had people over, but when we became until the time of it's like the time of maturity. And dog, I wish I could find that. I can't even think of anything that would lead me to the verse. Man, oh man, oh man. Anyway, okay, all right. The website that you see on the screen here is Universe Faith's Cosmic website. You can go there for ministry and information. They have different ministries. They got the Saturday meditation, the healing basket. They got the Bible study on Wednesday, which I broadcast here on YouTube. They have a creed. What is a faithist? We have faith in the all person, the collective wisdom that is without gender. As faithists, we live by and follow these guidelines inspired by the OAHSPE Bible and the work of the Creator. We understand that supremacy exists in a weak, fearful mind. We strive to do good works in the Creator's name. We respect others' opinions with understanding and openness. As long as your opinions do not diminish the dignity or free will of anyone, we are willing to accept differences from others with no bias. We treat others and ourselves with love and forgiveness. We are kind to our actions and whole being. We give others the freedom we all deserve. It is easy to demand free will, but it is challenging to allow others to exercise their free will. We are able to admit our mistakes and take responsibility for our actions. With these guidelines in mind, it is easier to understand that the foundation of faithism is the study and pursuit of Amarath and Aheba. Amarath is divine forgiveness. Aheba is unconditional love. For faith is the cultivation of Amarath and Aheba are essential lessons on the path for soul growth. Many faiths adhere to a vegan diet to reduce suffering, but being vegan does not give anyone supremacy. All right, so that's a little summary of what faiths are all about. Also, if you're new here, you can go to the video comment section of this channel where I've got links for all kinds of free stuff, man. You know, free stuff. That's the creator way. Free stuff, freely you receive, freely give. Anyway, these brethren here, they'll, if you're into the OAHSPE and you're trying to get, you know, maybe you're new and you want the OAHSPE, you know, you might be a little short on funds. You can go to these brethren right here, send them an email, tell them that you would really like to have one and say thanks, you know, be grateful, you know. The brethren are doing it, sending this out, man. And you know what? They don't even take donations. They don't even take donations. The Eloists, they don't even take donations, man. And they sending this big encyclopedia type book out for free. For free. See, that's one thing I love about the Creator. The way he teaches faithists to go thoroughly against the world. To go thoroughly against the world, man. To stand, and he give you the power to do it, man. To where we don't have to have anybody go with us. We don't need a crowd behind us, you know. You come into this, you can stand you could be in the middle of nowhere, man, against all kinds of opposition. You could stand on the Creator's principles. A faithist can do it. Having a fellowship and brethren around you, that's icing on the cake right there. That's icing on the cake right there. Send them an email. They'll send you the OAHSPE. And then on top of that, they'll ask you if you want Radiance Anthology. That's a book, man. I post on Facebook. I have different rooms I paste to on Facebook, and I get a big reaction whenever I post Radiance Anthology, and I have not been reading them on my channel. I have not been. I wish I would read more from Radiance Anthology. And it looks just like this book here on screen. And these brethren will send that one to you for free as well. Two big encyclopedia looking books, man. They'll send it to you for free. And then in addition to that, there's a 6-volume set. A 6-volume set that the Unknown Many have put out. Look at that, 6-volume set, man. And really, it's just a supplement to the OAHSPE. It's just a supplement. You know, I could bring it up on screen and show you a little bit of what's on the inside of it. The 6-volume supplement, it looks like this. The black and white on the screen right there. It looks like that. 6-volume set, man, just trying to point you to the OAHSPE. Hopefully there's something, you'll flip it open and you'll fall on a page that it grabs your attention. It's made for people with short attention spans. You see the subject matter that's in it? That's how it's compiled. PowerPoint presentation for people with short attention span, because you know we live in a world where America, they want it quick. They want, you know, especially when it comes to spirituality, don't nobody like to hear about it anyway, you know? So if somebody in the world let you talk to them, you got to hit them quick, man, you know? You got to try to hit them, you know, like, what's that thing they put to shock you back to life? They put it on your chest, a defibrillator or something like that. So the 6-volume set is meant to hit somebody. Hit them quick, shock them, you know, grab them, you know. So if you think you'd like the 6-volume set, all you got to do is just contact me in the video comment section. I'll send it to you for free. Now, how do you like that? And I said that right. I'll send it to you for free. This 6-volume set right here, if you sincere and you're not trying to take advantage of a brother, you contact me, I'll send it to you for free. And you know what? It'll be my pleasure. All right. So I'm gonna break off, and because I got a lot to share and I ain't gonna get to say all of it. The name of the video tonight is The Danger of NDE Videos and Gospel of Thomas Translations. The danger of NDE videos and the Gospel of Thomas translations. I'm going to pick up with the Gospel of Thomas translations. Now, my spirit was telling me, do a little lesson on the prodigal son. Do a little lesson on the prodigal son. Do a little lesson on the prodigal son. And what I'm going to do, I want to get right into the topic first. I want to get right into the topic first. And then if I have time, I want to get into the prodigal son. I probably ain't going to have time for it. I want to get right into the topic of it first. It was one of those things. Creator, I love the way he gives me inspiration in the sense that I'll come up with the idea for a video sometimes a few minutes before I'm supposed to go live. Sometimes a few minutes before I'm supposed to go live. No telling when inspiration will come to you, man. It's no telling. Well, in my case, and this came to me, I think last night or a couple of nights ago. It's like, say a little word about those NDE videos that you like to watch a lot. And before I say that, in the link area there, I sometimes refer to Brother Bob Bayer's ministry. And man, I really thank that brother, man. I really thank that brother. He's got a Thursday ministry. The contact information is in the video section of the channel, of the video, his contact information. He has a Thursday ministry, 40-minute Bible study fellowship. They get together and they pray over whatever the brethren want to pray over. And they do intentions, what's called intentions. And I have to show you his channel again, man. I got to show you the brother's channel again because he blessed my soul, man. And I really can't stop thanking him for that because he taught me a lesson, man. Partially why I'm going to do this video. Partially why I'm going to do this video. Now, I forget what his channel is. I forget. Let me see. I'm probably not going to be able to find it. I'm probably not going to be able to find it. I forgot what his channel is. I can't remember it. He comes in the room sometimes. I can't remember the number part of his channel, shoot. And I want to turn y'all on to it. The brother did an expose on John Newbro. And what I really appreciate is that the brother, he shared something controversial. He shared something that's very controversial. And even the faithless community, that is very hard to do, man, because you can rub some people the wrong way. You can rub some people the wrong way, man. I'm talking about even in the faithless community. When you say certain things, when you start talking about certain things, and the brother pointed out some things about John. Now, when I first came into OAHSPE, I didn't really care to. I saw his picture. I saw how, I came under that vibration. I remember at one time I sat down and said, man, that brother was so blessed, man, and how he was chosen to bring the OAHSPE into the world. And I remember a couple of times I fell just a little short of worshiping him in the sense that giving him undue credit, man, undue credit, thanking him for bringing the OAHSPE to the world. You know, very, very grateful, man. And I fell just short of worshiping that dude, being grateful for the creator using him. I fell a little short, man, you know. And that brother Bob Bear, the videos that he has put up, it opened my eyes to how even though we're faithists, you can fall to man worship. You could fall to man worship. And he pointed out some things about John Newbro. I mean, when I when he opened my understanding, it even hit me that why would you put your picture, why would you feature your picture on the OAHSPE to where you become the face of the OAHSPE? And then I come to find out some facts about him, which the brother pointed out. And I'm saying all these things because even though we know about the OAHSPE, we're faithists, and the Creator is shining the light on you, brethren. We still got to battle with forces of darkness, man. And it makes all the sense in the world that's why the Creator says the OAHSPE is an imperfect book. It makes all the sense in the world, man, that powers that be are going to try to join itself, link itself to the OAHSPE, try to link itself for the purposes of trying to get what little weaken, what little try to increase what little grip that they still have on a brother or sister, trying fighting to the last drop, man, to get a brother or sister to put their light out, man. And so it don't surprise the brother Bayer, man, with what he did. I respect any brother who will speak the truth in the face of opposition. I realize there are brethren who ain't gonna like anybody saying anything against John Newbro, you know. But the truth is the truth, man. And if you look at the brother's videos, I'm sorry I ain't got the link up. I'm gonna start linking his video in my comment section. The fact that the brother came out like that in the face of, I know that he pissed off some faithists, you know. I've got a ton of respect for anybody who'll stand up and speak what they, according to their inner light, is the truth, man. You know, I got a ton of respect for a brother that'll stand up on his principles, showing dignity, character. And when he exposed New Bro, meaning the inconsistencies between the man and the faith, he unlocked a part of me. That's why I'm talking all this much about Brother Bear and what he did. When somebody set you free like that, hey man, you got to thank him. You got to thank him. And the brother ministers largely under the radar, you know, unacknowledged, you know, probably not appreciated as much as he should be. I'm sure he's not asking for it. The Creator calls each of us not to seek vainglory or acclamation or applause or, but the brother, man, he's one of those silent laborers pretty much. And so anyway, um, I just I just got a ton of respect for the brothers speaking out. I'm, you know, because some brethren, they could fall in the same trap that, well, I didn't fall in, you know, I didn't fall into a trap. It got to a point where I was just more interested in what the OAHSPE had to say to me. You know, I saw the man's picture and it kind of bothered me a little bit, you know. I mean, I think it bothered me for a little bit, then I didn't even think about it. But then when the brother brought out the information about the the things that people don't know about New Bro, it opened my eyes and it helped me to see how men and their affinity for vainglory, wanting to be acknowledged, wanting to be at the head, wanting to be at the front, it goes very deep, man, you know? So anyway, um, just thank you, Jehovah, for the brother speaking up and telling the truth. And I hope that you'll let me do the same thing. Now, again, the video is called the danger of near-death experience videos. Danger of near-death experience videos. And I used to watch them a lot, and I did not know how to critique them. I did not know for a while. I didn't know how to critique them because I still had some Christian influence in me where everything is all right, you know, everything is all good, you know, you can say anything long as it's all good and all, there's no, it's all love and, it's all, it sounds good to people. But again, keep in mind, man, in the OAHSPE, we read about how Louis Mong, how he sent emissaries. He found out about the plan for America. Remember that? Louis Mong, the false god, the progenitor of Christianity, he found out about the Creator's plans for America. An angel had found out about the Creator's plans about America, went back, reported it to Louis Mong. Louis Mong sent his people over here to disrupt the Creator's plan. Y'all know the story. Sent the Puritans over here, otherwise known as the Pilgrims. The Pilgrims came over, and the Puritans came from the Pilgrims. Louis Mong's people to disrupt, to be in place so that when the Quakers came over, they could do damage to them. So my point is this: wherever there's light, man, there's darkness following close behind. That's what the Creator is showing us. How the false gods, they are never far behind, man. They are always closely following somewhere near wherever the light is going out. And so it makes all the sense in the world that they give us the OAHSPE. And the brother Bayer, he opened my eyes to the book of Sapa and Jehovah's Kingdom. The brother is a linguist. So he was able to see some discrepancies I didn't even know. I didn't know about. And it should be clearly seen. So the lesson it taught me is to look and think critically, man. Don't take nothing for granted. Be able to think critically, man. Now that's what leads me to the title of the video. All right. The danger of near-death experience. Because when you look at these videos here, one of the most powerful things that I see that it does, it take away your critical thinking ability. It take it away. The language is all positive. It's very flowery. It's very universally. It's very unoffensive. But what people don't realize when they see these type of videos, it appeals to their feelings. It appeals to their materialism in the sense that the people you hear on these videos, man, they don't point to the Creator. That gets overlooked. That part, it gets overlooked. You don't hear about the Ashar. You don't hear about the first realm. You don't hear about the second realm. You don't hear about the third realm. You don't hear about Etheria. You don't hear about the higher heavens. You don't hear about the grades. It's just you leave the earth and everybody just goes to this one big, fat, happy place without any knowledge, without any works, without any understanding. That's religion. That's Christianity. God is the Creator and he's sitting there just begging, trying to figure out a way to get men to turn and just on his hands and knees pleading with them. That's not the OAHSPE. The Creator, he don't chase after men in the sense that the Christian God he begging you, man, I got this heaven where everything is all good and, please come, that's the picture you get. But the Creator is not like that. He don't chase after me. I'm saying all this because we're the creator. He talks about not proselytizing. I love that part, man. I love to tell people, nobody's trying to force you or chase after you, man. But if you can receive it, then welcome, man. Come right away. And so these near-death experiences, these videos, it's like, who can refuse when these people start talking? Now, some people, and when you watch these videos, they say they do the same, they play by the same rule book. They get close to the truth, and people don't realize that a lot of them, they lead you to stagnant heavens. Stagnant heavens. Stagnant heavens are equal to, y'all remember the story we've been talking about Hoab, Fragapati and Hoab. Y'all remember that account? We've been talking about it. Fragapati went to raise up Hoab, who had a kingdom where the people were stagnating. These near-death experience videos, what people don't realize, now a faithist can see it. A faithist will spot it. A lot of them, they talk about how it's all good, it's beautiful, man, and it's a whole bunch of love there, and they never felt this type of love, didn't want to come back, man, talking about it's all good, and, ain't no, they say a lot, they do share a lot of truth. That's the hook right there that get you to put down your critical thinking. It put down your critical thinking, man, and the OAHSPE is warning you. The creator say, hey, there's such a thing called stagnant heavens. That's the second resurrection. That's the second in the sense of the church resurrection. People who are tied to the church. The first resurrection is for unenlightened. It's for like Druidian spirits and mortals who have been overrun by Druidian spirits, and they go to the first resurrection and realms of chaos and hellish conditions. And then you got the second resurrection, the church, where people who are religion, they go to their special part of the heavens, and they're there with one another, sitting there, stagnating, doing good works to each other, but gaining no knowledge, unable to make the resurrection. You just sitting right there with your Christian community. You sitting there, you stagnating. You cannot, just like in the parable of the rich man, he wanted to cross over, and that angel said, you can't. He said, there's a great gulf fixed. That's some spiritual truth to that. So you got the religions, Muslims, the Christians, you got the Muslims over there in that part of religion, and that part of the heavens with Sharia law and, whipping people and flogging them. And then you got the Christians, they sitting here over in that part of the heavens, they all together worshiping Jesus Christ on their bellies, crawling up, 3,000 miles just to get a peek of the throne. And they get close and they get turned around and they go back. They have to pray every new prayer every 6 feet, and, I'm talking about the bondage of the religious second resurrection. The third resurrection is faithist, where they're a community. Now, I don't want to confuse anybody about the third resurrection, because it could point to ethereal one way or another, or brides and bridegrooms. I'm saying what I'm saying because the map that I was showing y'all the other day about spiritual grades and grades, the map, it looked like a pyramid. It looked like an inverted pyramid, and it shows you the grades, and it shows you the power of the upper of the resurrection, the grades, your grade this, you have power of 13 to 1, and you're the higher grade, you got power of 20 to 1, and you go to, it shows you that map. And then it likens the third resurrection to the one above the first resurrection and the second resurrection, religious realm. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just saying that according to the map that I showed, faithists they go to their place, they go with the like-minded faithists, and then the religious resurrection. The Christians, they go to their place, they cannot resurrect because they're under a deity. So I think maybe I should correct myself. I think that when it talks about community, that faithists, they go to the second resurrection in their community or their, what is it, their nation. I should have that map up. The first resurrection is like scattered chaos. The second resurrection is like for religious spirits, where they go to like-minded religious spirits. And then third resurrection is bridegrooms, and then there's etheria above that, from what I understand. So what was my point? So there's, that's just, I mean, the creator, he gives us that picture of the spiritual, of the separation that's in the spiritual. I had a point, but I forgot what it was. So anyway, the danger of near-death videos basically is what I was alluding to. And people, they don't realize that there's a stagnant part of the heavens. There's a stagnant part where you cannot, you stay in that mindset because you're under a deity, and it's not really important to people. It's important to a faithist. And people always have to learn when it's too late, man. You got to learn when it's too late, man. You know, the danger of near death experience videos. I should have put according to, it says it here. According to OAHSPE, let me make the words bigger if I can. The danger of near-death experience videos, and these videos are super popular because they give people hope. I read the comment section of a couple of near-death experience videos, and people love the hope that it gives them of a better world. They all seem to agree about the world and the earth, and it's hard, and life is hard, and it's full of disappointment and struggle, and they seem to agree on that. And so somebody comes along with a near-death experience, man, and they testify with the people who are saying, man, the earth, and I don't want to be here. And then they come and say, yeah, I was like you, and then I had a near-death experience, man, and this place was just magic, everything, and people immediately drop their critical mind, man. They immediately drop it, and they receive it without understanding. According to OAHSPE, the core warning about near-death experience accounts or videos would center on the high risk of deception by lower grade spirits in the earth's heavens, meaning atmosphere, Heta, the atmosphere that's closest to the earth, where spirits who have newly left the earth, that's where they are. They in the atmosphere that's in close proximity to the earth. And if you just think about it, if you're trying to win someone, you're a false god and you're trying to win somebody, do you think you're going to win them by not giving them any hope? Do you really think that you're going to deceive? You're going to deceive someone without giving them hope? You know what I mean? Do you think that you're going to win somebody by negativity? You know what I mean? False gods. Do you think that they understand that they have to give, in order to deceive somebody, that they have to have a hook, a bait, bait and hook, something to get people? You have to say something that will draw spirits, that will loosen their guard, make them put their guard down. You know what I mean? False gods, Trojan spirits, unresurrected spirits. They understand that they understand human psyche, and they know they have to make the lower heavens where they are, they have to entice people. You got to entice people. When you look at near death experience videos, people, they talk a lot about the light, they saw the light and everything, the feeling that they felt, and they don't realize that that's another a strong pull of near death experience videos where they appeal to a person's flesh, how they felt. You do that to a person, you can easily get them to let their guard down. You come to a person sounding like you have their best interests in heart. You talk to them about the afterlife, and they gonna agree that someday, they gonna they gonna leave the earth. Everybody will agree to that. You come to them with what I'm trying to say. Hope is a powerful thing when you talk to people about when you're proving things that spiritual things that they don't know about. You start talking about things that people have not experienced, especially spiritual, when people start thinking nobody would lie to them about those type of things, but people would, spirits would, in order to deceive them. According to OAHSPE, the core warning about near-death experience accounts or videos which center on the high risk of deception by lower grade spirits in the earth's heavens. OAHSPE does not mention modern NDE videos, but extensively describes what happens at and after death. Spirit manifestations, visions, and communications, the relevant principles are clear and consistent. Main warnings that would apply. Most spirits contacted near the earth are not advanced. Most spirits contacted near the earth are not advanced. In other words, you get a person, they cross over. More often than not, it's going to, if they have not understood the light, have not come into the light, meaning the knowledge of the OAHSPE or the creator, then they will be approached with a Druidian spirit that will seek to deceive them. And that account is even in the OAHSPE. Remember, we talked about the corners of the earth. They come from the corners of the earth, the northeast, southeast, southwest, southeast. Whereas a righteous angel comes from the north, south, or east, or west. Now, I don't understand that fully. In the spirit, meaning in the spirit, how that applies. The Creator, he tells a faithless what deception is very simple. Any spirit that testifies of themselves, anything other than the Creator, is a false God, is a false spirit. When a spirit comes and they try to say that they were this or they were that in the past, they give themselves a name, they say something to you about how great you were in the past and the reincarnation, which the Creator does not teach, then we know that we dealing with a spirit that's not a resurrected spirit. The main warnings that would apply when you're talking about near-death experience videos, most spirits contacted near the earth are not advanced. Newly deceased people and many longer dead ones, look at this, they remain in the lower heavens as familiar spirits. Hey, I know him. I remember him. Yeah, I had a dream about him the other day. Man, he appeared to me in a vision, Familiar spirit. Or they appear as druges, low, dark, earthbound spirits. Most spirits contacted near the earth are not advanced. Newly deceased people, many longer dead ones, remain in the lower heavens as familiar spirits. Druges, meaning low, dark, earthbound spirits, are subjects of residual false gods. These can appear as lights, deceased relatives, angels, Jesus Christ, Buddha, or other comforting figures. They often still hold earthly desires, limited knowledge, or allegiance to falsely heavenly kingdoms. Do not accept spirit testimonies or visions uncritically. That's super important, man. And that's one thing you got to love about the Creator. He gives us a critical mind, man. He gives us a critical mind to, we know we've been in the world, man. We have a spirit on us. We know there is deception in the world, and it comes in all kinds of forms. I'm not saying we're immune to deception. If that brother had unlocked my understanding about John Newbro, about what his personal life was like, the things that he did, you could fall to looking at him above what you should be looking at him, which is anything other than a mortal man. Not looking at him, not looking at him as somebody who is closer to the Creator than you are, someone who's favored, or you know how people are tended to think about someone like that who was used to do a great work to help get the OAHSPE to reveal it to the world. People are very weak to when they show a little bit of righteousness and they're able to say things that people don't understand but sound good. And people are easily deceived like that. But the Creator of faith they operate on knowledge. That's knowledge and spirit. The Creator, He gives us spirit and understanding. He also gives us mortal material. By us being on the earth, we are combining our experiences on the earth with our spiritual experience, with the knowledge that the Creator has given us, so that we will be well equipped when the Creator, our time is up, and we go to wherever we land in the spirit realm. Do not accept spirit testimonies or visions uncritically. That should go for anything, man. We ought to know to be careful about letting your guard down. That's why one of the reasons why that last video was called "Hold That Light." Hold that light, man. Don't let your guard down. Don't let it down, man. You know, a faithist should be on guard, man, against the world and against the devices of constantly on the lookout so that the thief doesn't find a way into our home, our house. It should only make sense. I will not be appeased by, in the OAHSPE, it says, do not accept spirits, testimonies, or visions uncritically. In the opening voice of man, meaning Tay's prayer, the text states, I will not be appeased by merely seeing the spirits of the dead or by their testimony. See, he's got a critical mind. They may call themselves God, Christ, Buddha, Brahma, Allah, Confucius, or Jesus, yet I will not rest on them or their word. And though a spirit says, I am your Jehovah, believe me, I will deny him. Knowledge must come from the Creator Jehovah directly and be proven by one's own understanding, especially in the cosmic era. His inner light, his inner light, his inner light, man. That's why when that brother came out with that revelation about New Bro, my inner light told me immediately he was on target. He was on target, man. The brother had done his homework. Brother is a linguist, went back, looked at newspaper articles that gave testimony about what New Bro was like. And I'm just trying to point out that the controversial truth, one of the gifts that faith is, one of the things we've been given is, at least when we hear something, man, somebody says something, it ain't very popular. At least a faithist can put on some critical thinking, man, you know, not just rise up our feelings, and let them do the thinking for us, we're able to consider what's being said, or at least we should be. These near these near death experience videos, they really appeal to people's feelings, their emotions. That's one of the things that I began to really pick up on, man. They really strong on appealing to people's emotions, their feelings. That's one of the quickest ways to put down somebody's critical mind. That's kryptonite to a brother or sister who is critically minded, and the whole world is under that vibration. And it kind of explains how they get deceived year in and year out by politicians. Politicians, every so many years, they get up there and they start speaking about false hope, and people forget. They have short memories. Somebody gets up there, all they got to do is sound good for a couple of months, and then they get into office, man, and then people wake up, and they wake up and they don't catch on till it's too late, that you've been duped, you've been deceived when it's too late, and they make the same mistake over and over again. Nobody thinks to size up. Well, faith, you won't catch a faith that's running for office anyway. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, man, but I don't think you will. I don't think you'll see a faith that's running for office, man. Because they know that you got to corrupt yourself in order to play that game. You know, you won't see a faith that's seeking public office, man. Call on the Creator, not spirits of the dead. OAHSPE repeatedly advises against consulting spirits for earthly matters, guidance, or confirmation of the afterlife. Those who do so are already in the hands of Druges. Instead, pray to Jehovah for wisdom, purity, and true light. Any genuine higher angel sent will align with that. That's an important word right there, alignment, man. Making a resurrection is alignment with Jehovah. It's alignment with Jehovah, man. Alignment with Jehovah. Come out from under that deity, align yourself with Jehovah, which is being able to tap into your inner light. Meaning you hear something and you should be able, your inner light should be strong enough to testify as to what is good and right, at least morally. That's the Creator talking to you. That's how you get that's how you begin right then and there to start making progress into higher understanding, higher knowledge, higher light. Which we live in a reality, we live in a world that don't appreciate. We are materialistic and tied to our emotions and feelings. The low vibration. The earth is in a low spiritual grade right now. It's in a low spiritual grade, and there's a shock coming to this world that is just, it's like, have you brethren ever seen that? I remember one time, this is the best way I can describe it, man. I remember seeing that Japanese tsunami. Do y'all remember seeing that? That was one of the most incredible things I've ever seen in my life, man. Because they showed it live. They showed it live, man. Where that flood, it was coming in. It breached they showed people on the beach. There were cameras on the beach. I don't have to tell you, man. You can, if you've ever seen sudden terror like that, man, it'll stick with you. It had cameras. People were on the beach. This earthquake hit. The warning went out. People were on the beach. And way far off in the distance, you saw foam, right? I mean, way off in the distance. Foam is what you see on top of a wave. And when you see it way back out there and it's coming ashore, if you soon after you don't see, I'm speaking from a little bit experience, have been in the Coast Guard and the ocean, and having seen a little bit of how the ocean acts, if you see the foam coming off of the water and you're on the beach and it's way back in the horizon, if you see something like that, you better start running right away. These people, that that damn wave, man, it got real close and it was way up in the air. You know, that tsunami. And by then it was too late, man. People were making a beeline, man, for inland, you know, running past buildings, just running, man, you know. And that daggone thing, man, it just showed that waves just sweeping over the, you know, the um, the land. I mean, take, you know, you've seen the video. I don't have to tell you. I'm just trying to count. I'm just trying to, you know, point a picture about about seeing a situation before, you know, before it affects you. Seeing a situation before it affects you, man. You know, false lights and limited heavens are common. False gods and their residual followers historically claimed, I am the light and the life. Through me is the way of salvation. NDE style visions of a bright light, a loving being, life reviews, or a beautiful realm can that's the important word, it can come. It can come from lower atmospheric sources that still promote other names, personal saviors, or there's that word, stagnant heavens, rather than continuous resurrection toward Etheria, the higher emancipated heavens. So there's a lot of truth, man, in these near-death experience videos. There's a lot of truth, man. You know, they talk about the glory of it, you know, they talk about loving beings, you know. I believe life reviews are valid and true, faithful to the OAHSPE. You know, the beauty of it. The OAHSPE testifies to the beauty and even the first resurrection. The Creator, he seems to testify that even that is more glorious than the earth. Even the first resurrection is more glorious than the earth. Not to mention the second, the third, and then the Ethereal realm. Forget about it, you know. So in these NDE videos, there's a lot of truth in there, you know. I got to pick it up. Coming to the top of the hour, and I want to get to the translations of the Gospel of Thomas. Obsession and binding are real risks. Low spirits can engraft, obsess, or bind mortals and other spirits through, there it is, there it is, there it is, emotional attachment, flattery, or fear. Experiences that leave people overly attached to a particular guide, religion, or limited afterlife view can hinder true upward progress. Practical discernment. OAHSPE would recommend judge any NDE account or video by these standards. Does it exalt only the Great Spirit? Now, this is important, man. For brethren who like to watch them NDE videos, one of the things that is a real blessing from the Creator is he tells us how to put on a critical mind. When you watching these videos, man, he's telling us right now how we put on a critical mind so we can protect ourselves. Does it exalt only the Great Spirit, Creator, Jehovah, or my? And these videos, go to the comment section. They do not talk about the Creator. They don't talk about the first, second, or third resurrection. They don't talk about communities or churches, or, I mean, they don't talk about the organization of it. They don't talk about the um, they don't talk about the possibility of stagnating being in that same place for hundreds or thousands of years. They do not talk about what they have to do in order to worship their deity. A lot they leave out, man. A lot, The Creator saying, this is how you protect yourself. Does it exalt only the Great Spirit, the Creator, meaning Jehovah or Majesty, the All Person, and reject all other gods, lords, or saviors as objects of worship? Does it emphasize ongoing resurrection, self-purification, good works? Now, a lot of them do. They come back saying, love your neighbor, do good, do righteousness. It's just what they don't say most of the time. These NDE videos, these near-death experience, it's what they do not say that keeps people, that deceives people. It's what they don't say. A lot of them do emphasize ongoing resurrection. Well, let me see. No, I don't think the ones I've seen, they don't talk a lot about ongoing. It's a one and done deal. You leave the earth, you go here. You believe in Jesus, you go here. You stay there. It's not ongoing resurrection. I don't hear a lot about that. They allude to self-purification, good works. They do not talk about rising away from the earth. They talk about, going to another place, but the OAHSPE, when it talks about rising away from the earth, that means to put down the flesh, the vibration of the flesh, to do battle with your mindset, man, to do battle with your carnal nature. That's rising away from the vibration of the earth. That's what the OAHSPE is talking about. But NDE videos they basically categorize that as they were in another place. Or does it stop at comforting personal heaven or familiar faces? When you're looking at NDE videos, people talking about near-death experiences, do they talk about they go to this heaven? Or do they talk about, seeing familiar faces and, family and stuff? And these are things that are like warnings if they leave it there, a comforting personal heaven, familiar faces. Does it encourage dependence on the experience, spirit, or does it push the person towards independent knowledge and purity? Remember we talked about individuality a couple of weeks ago? One of the things the Creator don't want faithists to be is like we're all just like one another, in the sense that we have a leader. Everybody acts like him. They speak like him. They act like him. They frame themselves after someone who they think is leading them in what they should believe. The Creator, that's not OAHSPE. The Creator, he does not give the impression that we are all supposed to be like cookie cutter faithists. So these NDE videos, does it encourage dependence on the spirit and the experience, spirit, or does it push the person toward independent knowledge and purity? In short, OAHSPE would warn, treat NDE videos with strong caution. Many, perhaps most, reflect contact, meaning people who cross over and they come and they testify, they reflect contact with lower, still earth-tied spirit realms, where deception, residual false God influence, and limited understanding are common. Seek the Creator directly. Demand proof by your own light, and do not rest on the testimony of any spirit, no matter how loving or luminous it appears. That is some pretty good advice, man. That is some pretty good. I love that advice, man, because it aligns with the OAHSPE, the way the Creator basically telling you, learn to think for yourself, man. Learn to think for yourself. He's given us back our individuality, whereas religion, it tried to take it away, so that you can't think on your own. You always got, what did the pastor say? What did the preacher say? What did the elders say? Why don't you just listen to your own inner light? Your own inner light, man. You know, and people are afraid of it. Our own inner light, man. Our own inner light, man. To be able to tap in to the creator within each of us, which is the voice of righteousness. That's really all it is. The voice of righteousness, man. That's aligning us, aligning ourselves with the creator. All right, so that's the study on that. I'm going to turn my attention now to the Gospel of Thomas. Gospel of Thomas, and I think we left off at like Gospel of Thomas saying number 30, I think. Saying number 30. So let me bring that out. Gospel of Thomas, saying number 30. This has been a great study, man. A great, great study. Gospel of Thomas, saying number, 33, 32, and 29. Let's just start with 29, just to do a little recap. All right, Jesus said, if the flesh came into being, because, we did this. Well, let's do it again. Jesus said, if the flesh, come back. Jesus said, if the flesh came into being because the spirit is a wonder. But if the spirit came into being because of the body, it is a wonder of wonders. Indeed, I am amazed at how this great wealth has made its home in this poverty. What does that mean? This saying captures the profound mystery of incarnation and the dual nature of man, a core teaching in OAHSPE. If the flesh came into being because of spirit, this is OAHSPE's view. The flesh came into being because of the spirit. This is OAHSPE's view. We need the flesh in order so we could experience corporate materiality, the earth. We need the flesh for that. This is OAHSPE's view. The corporal body exists to serve the spirit's growth. The spirit is primary. The body is its temporary vehicle for learning. But if the spirit came into being because of the body, this would be the materialist view, meaning spirit is a byproduct of the flesh, which OAHSPE calls a wonder of wonders in its backwardness, almost unbelievable given the evidence of the unseen world. So in other words, it's like you get people who reason, I'm supposed to live the highest type of life that blesses my senses, which is the spirit. I'm supposed to experience the best that life has to offer. That's why I have my senses, the spirit in this case. They reason that God wants me, you get my drift. They reason that God gave me the ability to experience my five senses because he wants me to enjoy it, explore it, enjoy it, which is partially true, but the world does it to the exclusion of learning spiritual truths. Jesus said, I am amazed at how this great wealth has made its home in this poverty. The great wealth is the eternal spirit quickened by Jehovah. The poverty is the limited, perishable, corporal body and the lower conditions of the world. Jesus, as a high light being, expresses astonishment that the divine spark dwells in such humble, challenging conditions. It's almost like a billionaire living in a wooden shack, broken down, but he's a billionaire. You know what I mean? He's a billionaire. Why does he live there? That's what he's saying. If the spirit, how does it make its abode in the body of flesh? In OAHSPE, this amazement is shared by Ethereal hosts who behold mortals. How does the mighty spirit consent to incarnate in such restriction? Yet this is the divine plan for growth. The soul learns through the poverty of the flesh and rises richer into the heavens. The saying celebrates the miracle of embodiment while urging us not to forget the superior wealth of the spirit. And that's isn't that incredible? I know that the faithists it's got to have been impressed upon them the importance of your spirit, man. I know that's one of the vibrations we under. It's equal, man, to having a precious possession. A precious possession, man. You realize the importance of it. It's kind of like with parents and their children, man. They want them to go to the best school, you know, give them the best place to live, you know what I mean? The best food to eat. They treat them preciously. Create the parables here is saying the same thing. It's saying the same thing, man. Faithists realize the importance of their spirit and how precious it is. We live in a world that doesn't have any esteem for what we're talking about. And when you only live by the flesh and the senses and the things that are here and now, you cannot see the light. You can't see the spirit. All you know is your five senses. That's all you know. Gospel of Thomas saying number 30. It says, Jesus said, where there are three gods. Okay, so we read this last week too, but I'll read it again. Where there are three gods, they are gods. Where there are two or one, I am with him. This saying touches on the nature of divinity and oneness, themes OAHSPE addresses directly. Where there are three gods, they are gods. OAHSPE acknowledges that in the lower heavens among mortals, there can be multiple gods, rulers, false gods, or high angels in office. When several advanced beings work together, they function as divine administrators. However, these are appointed offices under Jehovah, not independent deities. So when he says, where there are two or one, I am with him. This is the heart of OAHSPE. Jehovah, or the Christ light, is present even with the smallest group or solitary soul who seeks the truth. There is no need for large organizations or intermediaries. The all person is with the individual or the faithful pair who align with the light. There it is again. Oneness with Jehovah matters more than numbers. That's the plight of faithists. We are not seeking large crowds. We're not seeking approval of anybody. We do not need society to tell us what is righteousness, what is spirituality. That's what we came out of. And that in itself was a miracle to come out of that. OAHSPE rejects multiplicity of gods in the ultimate sense. All true power flows from the one. The saying encourages the solitary seeker or small group. You do not need crowd. Oh, there it is. You do not need crowds or hierarchies. The divine presence is with the sincere heart, whether one or two. That's what blesses your soul, that knowledge, the intimacy that a faithist has with the Creator. The intimacy, man, the knowledge, the assurance, man, that light that you got, that's you and the Creator having fellowship to the point where you don't need anyone's, like the world. They need the world's approval, the world's applause, the world's attention. Faithists don't need that. It's nice to have brethren, fellowship with many brethren who are like-minded, but we can also do without it. That's the miracle of faithism, being able to stand all on your own, man, without acknowledgement, without recompense, you know? That's the beauty of faithism, man. This is pure faithism, direct personal connection to Jehovah, no matter how small the gathering. No matter how small the gathering. Jesus said, no prophet is accepted in his own village. No physician. Okay, so we read this last week too. No physician heals those who know him, mean those close to you are the ones you least likely to have an effect on. Those closest to us. So even in the other, the Gospel of Thomas, the Creator, the truth, the the sayings here, the Gospel of Thomas, the truths that we're reading, they're pretty profound, man, and nobody can really deny this stuff. No prophet is accepted in his own village. No physician heals those who know him. Those closest to us they're going to be the last ones to hear you. The last ones to hear you, man. This is straightforward and practical observation that OAHSPE echoes in its teachings on familiarity, humility, and the limits of local influence. Prophets and healers are often rejected or undervalued by those closest to them, family, village, daily acquaintances, because familiarity breeds doubt or takes the message for granted. Familiarity breeds doubt or takes the message for granted. In OAHSPE, this is why higher light often comes through the unexpected channels or during new cycles. The old familiar voices lose authority. True prophets and physicians, healers of soul and body, are more readily received by strangers or those prepared by circumstance. OAHSPE advises against seeking validation from one's immediate circle. Instead, live the light consistently. Its fruits will eventually be recognized. The soul that serves without needing local acceptance rises above such limitations. This saying encourages perseverance. Do not be discouraged if your own village does not accept you. The wider world and the heavens will. Verse St. Gospel of Thomas saying number 32. Jesus said, a city being built on a high mountain and fortified cannot fall, nor can it be hidden. This short saying beautifully illustrates that enduring strength and visibility of true light, a recurring image in OAHSPE. The city represents the kingdom of Jehovah, or a community, meaning soul, built on high spiritual ground. Purity, wisdom, and alignment with the Creator, the city. Remember, a city being built on a high mountain and fortified cannot fall, nor can it be hidden. The city represents the kingdom of Jehovah, or a community soul built on high spiritual ground. Purity, wisdom, alignment with the Creator. It is built on a high mountain, meaning founded on elevated truth, rather than earthly sands. It is fortified, strengthened by righteous living, angelic protection, and inner light. That's how we are fortified. Righteous living, angelic protection, and inner light. Inner light is knowledge. Such a city cannot fall. True spiritual structures endure all cycles and attacks from darkness. It cannot be hidden. Genuine light shines visibly. It cannot stay concealed. In OAHSPE, this is the idea of faithless communities and individual souls in cosmic era. Built high on Jehovah's light, they stand unshakable and serve as beacons for the world. No matter how much darkness tries to obscure it, the city on the mountain remains a refuge and a testimony. The saying encourages building your life and works on the highest foundation. They will endure and be seen. Jesus said, preach from your own rooftops that which you will hear in your ear and in the other ear. For no one lights a lamp and puts it under a bushel, nor does he put it in a hidden place. But rather he sets it on a lampstand so that all who come in and go out will see its light. Now, this is the one I had a little struggle with because it kind of gives the flavor, the vibration of blowing a trumpet. And that's not, I agree with people seeing our light, but it seems when you read the OAHSPE that it encourages brethren to give a less, um, it seems like the OAHSPE encourages brethren to give a more of a low-key type of witness. This is a clear call to bold, open proclamation. That's what I was, I kind of pushed back against. Bold, open proclamation of the inner light. A recurring directive, it says, in OAHSPE in the cosmic era, unless you want to say there's a way of being bold without being loud. Like making a statement, like, let's say you are on an outing and a picnic or something, or a get together, and then people pick up that you are not eating meat, and you share why you don't eat meat. And that's kind of a bold proclamation. People, that gets around, people pick up on that pretty daggone fast. That makes a statement to people. So that's a good example of being, not being like real outward, but still being bold and making an open proclamation like that. Preach from your rooftops. Share the truth you receive directly, the inner voice of Jehovah, openly and fearlessly. Do not hide it. No one lights a lamp and puts it under a bushel. Classic OAHSPE imagery. The light you're given is not for concealment. Hiding your inspiration or living the truth in secret defeats its purpose. In OAHSPE, this is the duty of the awakened. Let your light shine visibly through the righteous living, service, and honest testimony. The cosmic revelation is not meant to be a private knowledge, but a beacon for the world. Because in the world, there's such a thing called Gnosticism, private secret knowledge. That's not OAHSPE. That's not OAHSPEan. That's why it was that brother, the video that he did on John Newbro. It was really incredible to me because Newbro was a 33rd degree Mason, and Freemasonry is all about secret knowledge. You know, in order to join, you have to be initiated. They got special, like, um, sign, or what is that, like, secret signs, like handshakes, and it's a secret society, and that's against the OAHSPE. Masonry, that's a secret society. That's one thing that let you know that is contrary to the OAHSPE. The cosmic revelation is not meant to be a private gnosis, but a beacon for the world. Those who receive the inner light, it called to set it high so all can see and benefit. This saying encourages courage. Speak and live the truth openly as a lamp on its stand, not hidden away. Gospel of Thomas saying number 34. Jesus said, if a blind man leads a blind man, they will both fall into the pit. This is a clear caution against false leaders, blind priests, unawakened teachers, In OAHSPE's cosmology, the blind are those still in darkness, low grade, bound by juges, trapped in old creeds, and lacking suis, spiritual sight. When the blind lead the blind, both descend into the pit, the lower heavens, Hada, chaos, or prolonged bondage after death. OAHSPE repeatedly warns against trusting the self-appointed religious authorities, false gods, or those who have not yet risen in their own grade. Very important, isn't it? OAHSPE repeatedly warns against trusting self-appointed religious authorities. False gods are those who have not yet risen in their own grade. Instead, seek direct light from Jehovah and follow those who demonstrate living truth through their works and purity. The remedy in OAHSPE is simple. Develop your own sight. Do not surrender your soul's journey to another blind guide. A blunt but merciful reminder, choose your leaders and your own inner guidance wisely. Gospel of Thomas saying number 35, Jesus said it is not possible for anyone to enter a house of a strong man and take it by force unless he binds his hands, then he will ransack his house. What does it mean? OAHSPE parallel. This is a powerful metaphor for spiritual warfare and overcoming lower forces. Very much in line with OAHSPE's teachings. The strong man represents the lower self, entrenched habits, Druges, meaning low spirits, are the forces of darkness that guard the house, the soul or the world. To enter and ransack, free, or transform that house, the higher light must first bind its hands, restrain the power of the lower nature to discipline, purity, and alignment with Jehovah. That's where faithism, it really separates, man, because the Creator, he makes you deal with the inward light, the inner man. And then you couple that with him telling us the consequences for neglecting that. That's where the strength, the motivation of dealing with the inner man come from. It's the same thing in the world, man. The fear of going to jail, it stops a lot of people from crime. You know what I mean? That stops a lot of people from crime. The fear of losing your liberty, man, of going to jail. Faith is spiritually, they feel the same way. They don't fear, but the knowledge of the higher heavens is an inspiration for them to live in tune, to seek to the best of their ability how to be aligned with the Creator. It's real power. Real power, transformation, real transformation. That's the only power that binds the strong man, the lower vibration habits. Only then can the soul be liberated and its treasures, your true potential, reclaimed. In OAHSPE, this is the daily eternal labor of resurrection. You cannot simply wish away darkness. You must actively bind the lower self. Bind the lower self, man. Binding the lower self through virtuous living, self-examination, and calling on the higher light. Once the strong man is restrained, the house can be cleansed and filled with light. The strong man, the inner materialistic, the carnal man, the lower nature man, the beast man. And he is strong, man. He wants to serve the flesh. I was looking at a video, man. I was looking at a video about gold diggers. I don't want to sound like I come down on men, or women. I don't want to sound like that. It simply came across my feed and I looked at one video led to another video, and it showed women who, it made me just shake my head, man, who their inner, their flesh, their I don't want to say beast, their vibration towards the materialistic nature is so strong, it'll make you just shake your head, man. It'll make you it because it show you the struggle that's in the world. That's what gets my attention. The struggle in the world in relationships. These were a lot of them were young women. They were very physically attractive, and the way it worked on the ones that you see that they feature on videos is they equate that with power in relationships. And so you see these videos where they are very hard to deal with. They want money, they want the things of the world. And when they are not able to, or there's some uh, situation that prevents them, maybe they're on a date or something and they want to go to an expensive restaurant, and then the guy, he doesn't want to do that. That's a surefire explosion that's getting ready to take place. You see it all the time. And when you're talking about the OAHSPE and its warning about the self, the Satan of the self, it is strong in this world. It is very strong, man. I seen the videos, man, and the way these women were acting up. And again, man, I come down on men and women. I come down on the beast kingdom. The creator is showing you what the beast kingdom is, man. Neither one is any better than the other, whether it be in men or women. They both show you what the beast kingdom is, man, and how strong it is. And it has to do with getting your way. It has to do with unrestrained desire for money, for riches, for food. The videos that I see the most of are ones they're mainly dealing with food, people wanting to eat at expensive restaurants, live, spend a lot of money shopping, and it points to the same thing. It points to the power of the flesh, the power of the self. And it should point to the creator as the power that it's the only power that can break that mindset, man. And I haven't seen, I mean, I don't know, I'm only in a small part of the world, but it seems to me I would love to see the creator break that spirit in somebody, a young adult, young people, where they testified that they just couldn't live without the luxury and the entertainment of the world, and then they came into contact with the light, and it broke them. Man, I would love to hear that witness, because that beast self, the Satan of the self, is super strong, super strong. The the strong man of the house, he must be cleansed and filled with light. Once the strong man is restrain that strong man, then the house can be cleansed and filled with light, man. You have to make a decision to restrain the strong man, the self, the desires of the self, of the mind, the strong man. The saying is both a warning. Darkness is strong and it must be confronted, and an encouragement. And an encouragement is that it can be overcome. Oh, took away my verse. Let's get it back. So the encouragement is that the strong man, as faith is should be able to testify, can be overcome. The strong man can be overcome, man. And I would also like to share about how we each carry Druges, Vetus. Either they will rule over us or we will rule over them, man. And you got to picture like somebody that is reaching out to you. Say like they grab a hold of you as both of you are running out of a burning building and they grab and jump on you. I mean, the picture is that you have the ability to save their life. In Thetis, we carry Druges who will either rule over us or we will rule over them. So we have the opportunity to save, to help them to make the resurrection, or for them to bind us to the earth and the lower realm. That's the mystery of the spiritual realities. You know, we have Druges that we carry, Thetis, anybody, the world. Either they rule over you or you rule over them, according to the OAHSPE. Saying number 36, Jesus said, do not be concerned from morning until evening and from evening until morning about what you will wear. The parallel, this is a concise call to non-attachment and trust in Jehovah, a recurring practical teaching in OAHSPE. Worrying about food, clothing, food, material needs distract from the real work of the soul. In those videos I saw, that's what it was all about. It was about food, clothing, material needs. And when you see that, you know that the work of the soul is not going on. I'm telling you, man, that part right there, that is pretty daggone scary, man. You know, how people, they basically, they throw their opportunity to make the resurrection on the earth away. You throw it away because the pull of the earth is that strong. Even on Thetis, man, the tug of the earth, we can feel that, you know. The pull of the earth, pull of the flesh is strong, man. You know, it's nothing to play with. It's real, man. The pull of the earth. OAHSPE teaches that excessive concern with externals, especially vanity, man, status or hoarding, it keeps the soul bound to corporate and lowers its grade. The one who lives in faith and service and trusts that Jehovah provides what is needed for the journey. The one who lives in faith and service trusts that Jehovah provides what is needed for the journey. Focus instead on purity, good works, and inner light. The one who lives in faith and service trusts that Jehovah provides. Now, I always talk about the coming situation as each day goes by, man. Right now, we in a situation where the president is just kicking the can down the road. He's just kicking it down the road. He's putting it off, putting it off, putting it off, putting it off. All the while, our oil and gas reserves are drawing down, drawing down, drawing down. The conflagration in the Middle East is not ending. There is still a shutdown going on right now. Analysts, experts, they know this, and we got a situation where the administration is just kicking the can down the road, kicking it down the road. They just kicking it down the road. That's the situation we're in right now, and it's all kind of storms being built up, man, in the world. It's all kind, you know. You got the elections. You're talking about a change of power. You're talking about the president being impeached, possibly thrown out of office, and then you got the economy, man, and the residual effect from oil and gas not being shipped around the world. That means prices going through the roof, gas, diesel, which runs machineries and factories. And when you cannot keep when you have a situation where people, like, if people, remember the phrase, the verse in the Bible I was sharing a few weeks back, where it said, if you cannot run with the footmen, right now, we running with the footmen and we can't keep up. We in this country here, we running with the footmen right now, and we cannot keep up. We cannot keep up. What do I mean by that? The rising costs of everything, costs of living, health care, food, child care, people not, their wages not keeping up with the cost of living. That's running with the footmen, you know? If we can't, you know what I mean? I don't have to, if in a time when everything was running, operating smoothly, you know what I mean? And we still are not able to keep up with the footmen, you know, then what about when when the horses come? You know what I mean? I'm telling you, that's the situation we in right now. Brethren, people like me, I keep a constant focus on what is coming, a constant focus, man. I listen to the analysts, I listen to the news, I listen to the prognosticators, and they are all saying the same thing, man. And the administration has chosen to take the approach to just kick the can down the road until all of a sudden it just hits you out of nowhere. You wake up and the whole world has changed. The whole world, and who knows what could happen, man. The government, I don't want to speculate, but when you have that many people warning about the economy, the very thing that people really care about the most, and you have that many people who know, who crunch numbers and who are sounding an alarm, and you see that we live in a dysfunctional world, man. You know what I mean? Something has got to give. We're going to see how the creator moves. I believe we're going to see how something, I hope that the creator opens the door for the OAHSPE to explode on the earth. It's the only hope for mankind. This doesn't mean total neglect of the body, meaning the one who focuses on purity, good works, and inner light. OAHSPE advocates clean, modest, practical living, but freedom from obnoxious obsession with, with appearance and possessions. The soul that stops fretting over what you will wear becomes light enough to rise. That's another way of leaving the vibration of the earth. Simple but profound cosmic wisdom. Seek first kingdom within, and the rest falls into place. Ain't that the truth? And we in a situation where only faithists really know, only faithists really know the truth of this statement right here. And it just makes all the sense in the world to me that we go through a test of our own, man, where we could be dragging, like, just in our spirit, a temptation to just drag along. And it seems like even our nation, I hope and pray that the creator, that we come into shock treatment too, where we become a force, that we draw attention to what we believe. I hope we do, man. I hope the creator, that's in store for us, where we open our mouth, where we're given a voice. I think that there's a strong tendency to go to sleep. You can go to sleep, to go to sleep. For faithists to go to sleep. It seems to me in my spirit, my inner light is telling me it is a powerful, powerful force, vibration for us to go to sleep. Faithists. To go to sleep, meaning to lose that first love, to lose that sensitivity, to lose that edge. Jesus said a person cannot mount two horses or bend two bows. I covered this. I should. Let me see if I can pick up where I think I read this too. Let me see what the next one says, because I talked a lot about what we had already went over in my last video. I covered that too. Saying number 40. Let me see what the next one says. I think I covered this too, but I'm gonna read it again. Jesus said, "Show me the stone which the builders have rejected. That one is the cornerstone." The parallel in OAHSPE. This is a powerful image of the rejected becoming the foundation, a recurring theme in OAHSPE. The stone which the builders have rejected represents the humble, the overlooked, the pure light that organized religions and proud leaders dismiss. When I read this, man, it reminds me of the University of Arizona, man. I can't help but share that it reminds me of the University of Arizona in the sense that I went down there, but I don't have any appearance that commands anybody's respect. I have more of the appearance of the overlooked, like it says here. The stone which the builders have rejected. And how I spoke with a professor. And he rejected, I could just, how when you are, say you're talking to somebody and they look down on you, I could feel that was his vibration. That he's probably used to dealing with educated professors and doctors, and then here I come in a wheelchair, in a power chair, The world looks at somebody like that, you're not going to command any respect, man. You're going to be the stone which the builders have rejected, the overlook the pure light, that organized religions and proud leaders dismiss. That's the fate of faithists, man. Overlooked, just don't command any respect in the world, man. In OAHSPE, this is often the direct inner light of Jehovah. The simple faithless path, or the innocent soul that the builders, meaning the priests, false gods, worldly system, cast aside. Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth, man? You go, you called upon to give a little witness, or somehow you get the chance to bring some light out, man, and it just goes in one ear and out the other. It goes in one ear and out the other, man. The stone that the builders rejected becomes the cornerstone. Faithism, the essential foundation of the true kingdom and the new world. The cornerstone, the essential foundation of the true kingdom and new world, faithism. That's the stone that the builders rejected. That is the stone the builders have rejected. OAHSPE teaches that the cosmic era is built on what the old systems rejected. Direct communion with Jehovah, equality of souls, service over power, and the light of the individual seeker. What man throws away, Jehovah exalts. Isn't that something? Isn't that something, man? I can't help but think that the world is getting set up. The more desperate the world becomes, the more desperate they chase the flesh. You look at a video and then they start talking about rising food costs and the economy and the shortage of oil and gas. What do people talk about first thing? They talk about prepping. They talk about storing up. They talk about buying gold and silver. They grab even more, whether they clench, they hold on tight, man, even tighter than before to the world, you know. Start looking for a third job, third and a fourth job, you know, trying to store up. The saying is both reversal of worldly values and a promise. The humble truth that is despised today will hold up the entire structure tomorrow. How do you like that? How do you like that, man? Faithism. The stone which the builders rejected is faithism. Faithism. Overlooked. It is overlooked. It is the direct inner light of Jehovah, and the world is not going to understand it, man. The direct inner light, man, meaning communicate. Righteousness is the direct inner light of Jehovah. If you can just sit down and just meditate and concentrate on righteousness, you will surely get spoken to. You will get spoken to. That's how you find the Creator. You just sit down and get honest with yourself. You get honest with yourself, man, and I'm telling you, you will get get inspired. You will get inspired, man. The inner light will, if you and you just give it a little time, I'm not trying to, you know, add a disclaimer, man. This is something that will happen. This will happen. I can only speak from experience, man. When I first came into the OAHSPE, and I just couldn't help but start, I couldn't believe the things I was hearing, and I automatically started meditating. I at a time when I never meditated, man. You could sometimes, some things can just stop you in your tracks, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what happened to me. I mean, when I say stop me in my tracks, it made me sit down. When I first started getting into the OAHSPE, I just started, I just started thinking, oh, I'm knocking the camera up. Well, I don't need to be seen anyway. Let's see. So let me see. That's funny. My camera. So anyway, the stone which the builders rejected, man, I just can't get off of that because it's speaking prophetically, and faith is the stone which the builders rejected is faithist, is faithism. It's the direct inner light. The stone which the builders rejected. It's the simple faithist path. And the priests of false gods and worldly systems cast it aside. I just can't get over it because it happens every day, man. But the rejected stone becomes the cornerstone, man. Now, how the Creator is going to bring this to pass, I don't know. In my mind, I think that if you don't touch, you have to touch people before you get their attention. But we're going to see, man. OAHSPE teaches that the cosmic era is built on what the old systems rejected: direct communion with Jehovah, equality of souls, service over service over power, and the light of the individual seeker. What man throws away, and Jehovah exalts, man. It just tickled my soul, man. The saying is both the reversal of worldly values and a promise. The humble truth that is despised today will hold up the entire structure tomorrow. Man, you bless my soul. You bless my soul, man. I really believe, I know that is the truth. Jesus said, whoever blasphemes against the Father, okay, now I did read this too. I'll do it again. Jesus said, whoever blasphemes against the Father will be forgiven. Whoever blasphemes against the Son will be forgiven. Now, even before I explain it, anyone who looks at this video, tell me what the answer to this is, even before I read it. But whoever blasphemes against the Holy Spirit will not be forgiven, either on earth or in heaven. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean? I wonder if Christianity can answer that. I wonder what they will say. you know. They believe in eternal damnation. You know what they would probably say? If you don't believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, thou shalt not be saved, meaning you eternally go to hell, man. That's how they would phrase this. That's how they would interpret this verse. Whoever blasphemes against the Holy Spirit shall not, and the Holy Spirit is a Christian concept. It's not an OAHSPE concept. It's part of the triune doctrine. It's part of the triune, what the OAHSPE calls the triune God, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. But whoever blasphemes against the Holy Spirit will not be forgiven either on earth or in heaven. This is one of the more solemn sayings, and OAHSPE offers a clear lens for it. Blasphemy against the Father or Son, meaning the outer expression or messengers of light, can be forgiven because it is too often done in ignorance. Blasphemy against the Holy Spirit, which is the inner light, meaning Jehovah's direct quickening presence within the soul, is different. Christianity calls the inner light the Holy Spirit. In OAHSPE terms, this is the deliberate, persistent rejection of one's own divine spark. The deliberate, persistent rejection of one's own divine spark. How do you like that, man? It's like eating your own flesh, to use an analogy. Who would do it? Nobody would if they knew what they were doing. In OAHSPE terms, this is the deliberate rejection of one's own divine spark. And people do that. Christianity teach them to do that. Blaspheming the Holy Spirit, man. I'm going to do a study on that. I'm going to do a video on that. Blasphemy against the Holy Spirit. It's one of those titles that intrigue people that only the Creator can explain. The willful choice to remain in darkness, to harm the light in your own self, man, and others, and to refuse resurrection when it is offered. To refuse resurrection, even when it's offered. OAHSPE teaches that while no soul is eternally damned, the one who blasphemes the Holy Spirit places itself in a very deep bondage. That's most of the world. It may take many cycles and much suffering before the soul turns. The unforgiven state is self-chosen, self-perpetuated until the individual finally opens to the light. This saying is a grave warning. Do not harden yourself against the inner light. That is the one thing that keeps the door closed, man. How do you like that? Okay, it's 7 o'clock and I'm getting ready to end the video in a few minutes. And anyone who wants to say something, type 1 in the chat. So when I get to the chat and I see you have something you would like to share, and I will bring you on, we'll talk, and you can have your say. Jesus said, grapes are not harvested from thorns. Now, you think about that. What do you think that means without having been told? Grapes are not harvested from thorns, nor figs gathered from thistles, for they do not produce fruit. Also, there's another translation for this. Grapes are not harvested from thorns, nor figs gathered from thistles. There's another translation for what that means too, which is very interesting. People won't come to you for your fruit if you're offensive to them. They will avoid you. That's another translation for this. People will not seek the fruit that you have to share if you are offensive to them. They won't come near you to harvest your wisdom. Grapes are not harvested from thorns, nor figs gathered from thistles. In other words, be approachable. Be like a child, gentle in nature, non-offensive, inviting. Grapes are not harvested from thorns, nor figs gathered from thistles, for they do not produce fruit. A good man brings forth good from his storehouse. An evil man brings forth evil things from his evil storehouse, which is in his heart, and says evil things, for out of the abundance of the heart he brings forth evil things. This is pretty important, and I think it harmonizes with OAHSPE. A good man brings forth good food from his storehouse. An evil man brings forth evil things from his evil storehouse, which is in his heart. And look, it says he says evil things. Your speech comes from what's in your heart. For out of the abundance of the heart, he brings forth evil things. Even your speech, the things you say, it can reflect your heart. This is a straightforward spiritual cause and effect, and OAHSPE fully agrees. You cannot harvest good fruit from a bad plant. Likewise, the soul rooted in darkness, thorns and thistles, selfishness, anger, false light cannot consistently produce good works. The storehouse is the heart grade of the soul. A good heart, pure, service-oriented, naturally brings forth light. An evil heart brings forth harm. Out of the abundance of the heart, OAHSPE teaches that what fills the inner world eventually overflows into words and actions. You cannot hide what is stored inside. If you have evil stored in your heart, it's going to come out in your relationships, in your dealings with the world, people, other spirits. This is why OAHSPE places so much importance on daily self-examination and purity. Tend the inner storehouse, and the outer fruit will take care of itself. Simple, practical, cosmic wisdom, because a good tree and a good fruit follows. And how do you like that? My other part of the list, so it must be somewhere else. The other part of the list must be somewhere else. Let me see. Because there are 100. Oh, okay. I cut it off at number 45. I cut it off at number 45. So let me see. Did I upload the other things? Okay, I probably didn't. So I cut it off at 45. I got to upload the other ones. Okay, it's cool. I got to upload the other sayings. Gospel Thomas has 114 sayings. It has 114 sayings, so evidently I didn't upload all of them. I stopped at 45, so that's probably the creator saying, okay, that's a wrap, Yaakov, for tonight. Leave it there. All right, so I'll have to do upload the other ones. So I'll upload those for next week. All right, that's cool. Let me go to the chat then. Before I close the video, see what's up with the chat. All right. Oh man, nobody loves me anymore, man. Nobody loves me. That's all right. No, I'm just kidding, brother. All right, I'm in the chat now. Of course, my brother Matt loves me. Matt and his wife, brother Gabriel and his wife, they were in here. Good to see you. See, Dennis, I don't know. I've never seen you before, but welcome, 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 welcome. Yes, Jamia was in here. Oh, she's still here. It was 6:56. How you doing, Jamia? How is Nolan? How is motherhood? Well, you got a couple children, right? It's good to see you, sis. Good to see you. I know you don't want to come on and talk. That's cool. It's good to see you in here. Let me remind anyone listening who, oh, Nolan just turned 1. Her son, she just had a son, just turned 1. Nolan, that's pretty cool, man. 3 kids. I'm jealous of you parents, man. I'm jealous of you parents, man. You know, lead poisoning is sterilized me. You know, I contracted lead poisoning in the military, you know, and it seems like the Creator really impressing upon me. That's a part of life, man, that the love of children and the love for your children is something I can never experience, man. And it just, sometimes it just drags me down, man. You know, I bet it's an incredible thing. Sister here got 3 kids, man. I just think that is just the most beautiful thing, man. I just really am jealous sometimes, you parents. I hope y'all are doing great, man. It's one thing I love is that your children are going to know that you bringing them up under the light, man. I just think that's just an incredible thing, man. I really envy that. Anyway, Jimmy, it's good to see you. Thanks for joining me. And I want to remind anyone who sees the video of the comment section on the channel for a bunch of free stuff, the OAHSPE, the 6-volume set, and the there's a link in there for brethren who may need charity. You can contact me. You need charity, you know. You can contact me, man. I won't run from you, you know. And also the Brothers Ministry, Brother Bob Bear's ministry on Thursday. If any of you want to contact him, and then they have a 40-minute study, and it's a unique little study. They pray over they have people volunteer to pray for this or that, and then they all pray together. They say it out loud, then they say it silently. And I just think that that's the way to do it, man. You put your voice together with other brethren. And so I forgot. I had something else that I wanted to mention that I'm forgetting right now. It's the weekend, so Tuesday, Creator willing. I want to also, as a reminder, as each day goes by, I just hope that, brethren, that it's easy. It seems like we're in a situation where I seem to think it's easy to want to fall asleep and not be on guard. And we living in a world where each day that goes by, man, I'm telling you, brethren, we getting closer to a world that's going to change manifestly. It's going to change right before our eyes because of the situations that I've been talking about economically, geopolitically. We can't avoid it. We can only hope, man, that the Creator would give us wisdom and knowledge, man. I know that I don't think it's the will of the Creator to avoid what's coming on the earth, but we need, I think he wants us to exercise wisdom and knowledge for what he is getting ready to bring the earth into and what bring the earth through. I just seem to really think that we're headed for an explosion, and I hope that we are ready in our minds to, you know, whatever inner light the Creator has given us and how to deal with it, that we sensitive to listen to it. So anyway, thank you for joining me, and Tuesday, Creator willing, I will see you again. And Jehovah, thank you for this opportunity to try to share and to be a light and to redeem the time while I'm on the earth. And I pray the same for my brethren, that they will redeem the time as well, that they will grow and they will take advantage of any opportunities that you give us in order to just be the highest light that we can. We understand that we living in a situation and we don't know exactly what will be, but I ask for myself, my brethren, that you will use us and that you might even open a door where we can share the light with our places, our uh, little corner of the earth where we live. So, Jehovah, once again, thank you for uh, the message, the study tonight, and I ask that you will watch over all of us and you will increase our understanding so that we can know how to move in the world that we live in today. And in your name, I give thanks and praise. So, brethren, all right, man, thank you for joining me. And until I see you again next Tuesday, Creator be with you all. Peace be unto you and shalom.